Ayo, and what is up, gang? Welcome to the most must-see pro wrestling related podcast right here on YouTube, Sledgehammer TV's own Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. Thank you for joining us. This is part 2 of the official weekend update, and we are going to talk about a lot of great stuff, and we are going to do that right here and right now on the newest, fastest wrestling podcast in all of YouTube, the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. So, let's do it.
The Sledgehammer Wrestling Show.
Alright, wrestling fans, thank you so much for joining us here again on the channel today. My name is Nick Nightmare. With me as always is the World Heavyweight Champion of Microphones, Blue the Snowball, my trusty and loyal tag team partner, and we are here to bring you part number 2 of the weekend wrestling update. We've got a very exciting story for you at the top of the show. Our top story tonight is going to be how Daniel Bryan is pushing very hard right now for an in-ring return. We all want it. I want it. I know yous want it. He definitely wants it, and he is trying like hell to make it happen. We are going to go over that, as that is our top story for the evening. But first, we want to talk about some news with Emma. Now, I don't know whether to laugh my ass off at this or, maybe she's, justified in being absolutely ridiculous in her demands that she's putting out there on the independent scene. Let's go to the story. Former WWE superstar Emma will be using her real name, Tenille Dashwood. Tenille Dashwood, the captain and Tenille. On the indie scene, once she's free to work with other companies. According to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, she's confirmed on Twitter that she will be able to start working indie dates after February 1st, 2018. Emma is actively looking to continue her wrestling career and was in talks with the World Wonder Ring Stardom promotion in Japan. Talks with that promotion fell through, however, as she was asking $2,000 per match, plus first-class airline tickets and full creative control of her character. Stardom officials felt that granting those demands wouldn't be a good business or economic move for the company, so they put the kibosh on that. But Emma's certainly looking to get out there, and she's certainly looking to make some cash. I don't know that Emma could be demanding $2,000 per match or per appearance, especially when she's including all these perks. That's about maybe another $1,000 worth of perks. First class airfare, probably to and from, hotel accommodations and whatnot. Obviously, this is over there in Japan. I don't think she could ask that at all here in the States. If she wanted to hit the indies over here, she's got to lower that price, because it has nothing to do with the fact that she's a female. It has everything to do with the fact that, yes, you were featured on WWE television, you do have recognizability, you do have notoriety, but you don't have any hardware to speak of. How many championships have you won? How much have you been featured in a prominent role on Monday Night Raw? Never. Until this last 2 outings with Asuka, which were a freak thing. I was almost going to say abomination, but it's not that they were a bad match. It's just not the way Asuka should have been launched on the main roster. You made yourself look great, but you got yourself terminated for whatever the reasons behind it. Doesn't matter at this point. But $2,000 per match? Man, I don't know what the wrestling market is like at all. I really wish I did. But I could imagine a guy like Ricochet probably commanding $2,000. Now, if you had $2,000 and you were putting on a wrestling show, and this was your last $2,000 to finish the show off and you wanted to sign one premier talent and you have on the table Emma or Ricochet or Neville, maybe. Who are you going to pick? I know who I'm going to pick. I'm going to pick Ricochet or Neville or anybody that's really going to bring me a crowd. I don't think Emma's a draw the way she thinks she is. I was always a fan of her. It's not that I have anything against Emma. I thought Emma was great. Thought she was underutilized and misused by the WWE main roster. She was fantastic down in NXT, and as they prove over and over again, they take a talent from NXT and know absolutely how to ruin them. So that's where we're at with Emma. As noted, Emma, Darren Young, and Summer Rae are all under 90-day non-compete clauses. They are being paid their downside guarantees through January 27th, 2018, and will be free to work for any promotion after that date. It'll be interesting to see where Emma ends up, knowing what she kind of thinks of herself, and it'll be interesting to see what develops in her career from this point on. I was hoping she was going to hit the ground running and be the first woman to blaze a trail very similar to what Cody Rhodes has done. But I think her high opinion of herself and the high worth she's placing on her skill set and talent is not going to allow that to happen. She needs to calm down a little bit and, be in this to make an impact and to build your character. Don't be in this to just make money. It's not always all about that. WWE recently files some new trademarks, which could lead to a new show. So let's get into that story. WWE files to trademark the term WWE Mixed Match Challenge. That was a mouthful to say for some reason. For entertainment services, namely a show about professional wrestling. It appears this could be a name of a new series that the company is working to put on the WWE network. I don't know, just by that title, what the hell that could possibly be. Maybe it's a combination of matches that, circulate around a theme of some sort of challenge. I don't know. I can't come up with it. What the hell kind of show is that going to be? What's a mixed match? I don't know. Is it going to be a male and female show? Is it going to just be another 1 hour show like Main Event or 205 Live that I really don't need to see? It leaves way too much open for speculation. It's a terrible name. Mixed Match Challenge. I need to know what it means. Whether or not it's a show coming to the network or possibly a new Saturday morning style show, I don't know what they have in the works. But if they're making new shows, where's the UK show? Hopefully that's not this. I don't want it to be the Mixed Match Challenge. I also don't want it to be the King of the Ring, which is what the big, heavy rumor is going around, that the WWE's UK show is going to be called King of the Ring. And I that's just terrible. That's an absolute disgrace. And it's disrespectful to the King of the Rings that we have seen. It is one of the best pay-per-views you could ever put on, and it is not being used effectively, and it is just going to be relegated to the title of a weekly episodic television show. Terrible. There were some other trademarks filed. One being called Project Rock in the education and entertainment category, which appears to be for health and fitness and athletic DVDs and other content. WWE also recently filed to trademark the term Kids for Kids, which appears to be for a new WWE community campaign, probably some other charity they're going to start throwing in our face every time we're sitting down trying to watch wrestling. That's all well and good. I was hoping for something better than that. When I read the tagline on this thing, I didn't know, because I didn't read the report prior to me coming here bringing it to you. I hate it. Mixed Match Challenge. Watch it end up being a good show. or a decent, new, different kind of concept. Is it? I can't imagine. What do you guys think? Tell me what you think the Mixed Match Challenge show might be. Alright, hit me up in the comment section and let me know. And in our top story tonight, like I said, Daniel Bryan seems to be inching closer towards the comeback he's been longing for. He's recently revealed to the Trentonian, which I guess is some newspaper or a magazine somewhere where he lives in do they live in Washington? No, Arizona, wherever the hell they live. Who cares? That he's going through the process to try to get cleared for an in-ring return. Daniel Bryan hasn't wrestled in the WWE since April 2015. And he's had an extensive history of concussions that has made the WWE apprehensive about allowing him to perform again. He has never hid the fact that he wants to wrestle again, and it's possible the WWE has begun to soften its stance on his status after he was kayfabe attacked by Kane in the darkroom on last week's Raw, which may have been the company's way of not showing him taking bumps, obviously. Bryan said his tests have produced positive results, but he understands the WWE's hesitation. I don't. I mean, I do, but I don't. It at the same time, like, yeah, you're worried about the guy's health, but, if he don't care, make him sign a piece of paper that frees you of any liability, and then let the man go. Why are we at this point? Jesus. Daniel Bryan says, and I quote, "I'm trying to get cleared as we speak. All my tests have come back fantastic, better than people who have never had any concussion type stuff. But it's a weird thing. We're in a weird situation politically with the climate around concussions. It's very difficult. WWE would love to have me back. But it's a smart thing for me as a business. But is it a smart thing for me as a business to bring me back? If I was to come back and they let me back, would they get a lot of flack for it? They have a ton of stockholders that they're responsible for. Screw them. It's more than just, is he healthy to do it? That is all very valid. But I repeat, if he wants to do it, allow the man to do it. And that is your stance. Listen, we feel this way. We're not really comfortable with it. But this is what his dream is. This is what he wants to do. It is his life. We leave it on his power. And whatever happens, happens. And it's on Daniel Bryan, not on the WWE. They could just do that and be done with it. All this political nonsense. And what, a bunch of people on Twitter are going to get upset that Daniel Bryan's had so many concussions? The man's been out of the ring for months. And he's ready and willing and able to get in the ring and contribute to a show that desperately needs him. The fans desperately want him. He still gets the biggest reaction of anybody on SmackDown. It's a no-brainer. No pun intended. The recent return of Kurt Angle, who also has an extensive injury history, has possibly helped Bryan's case for a comeback. In September, it was reported that Bryan had been training his wife Brie Bella for her own comeback. Bryan has also implied that he will be seeking opportunities outside the WWE if they refuse to give him a chance to wrestle again. He said the situation is complicated because of the nature of the wrestling business, but he's staying positive. That's the end-all, be-all of this whole thing, you guys. If they decide to let this man's contract go without letting him back in the ring, when he's got guys like Kurt Angle and other veterans coming off the bench with many concussion injuries themselves being allowed to wrestle, he's going to walk and he's going to make some other promotion probably the number one promotion in the world. Let's be real about that. Daniel Bryan adds, "There's more than that to the whole situation. All the concussion doctors think that I'm healthy enough to do it and that I should be able to do it. Well, I don't want to say all of them. I'm sure there's somebody out there who doesn't think that, but there's a lot more than goes into just that. That's the unfortunate situation with giant corporations and big business in the United States." And that's really what it all comes down to. The WWE is a corporation with stockholders, and they are worried that they are going to be put into some sort of a legal situation where they're left on the hook and made to look bad for even letting this man back in the ring. And I can understand that. As a business, as a profession, as a company, you don't want to allow that. But, to Daniel Bryan's point, you're allowing Kurt Angle to do it. So why can't he do it? How many concussions has Rhino had over his life? You're allowing him to actively participate for the most part. I'm sure every superstar on that roster has had multiple concussions. But you're taking Daniel Bryan's a little bit more seriously. Why? Because of the neck injury that he had, or whatever it was that took him out in the first place? You know, Finn Balor was hurt pretty bad. You don't seem to care that you have him back in the ring. He's had concussion issues. Samoa Joe has had concussion issues. You know, just to put things in perspective, Shinsuke Nakamura broke Austin Aries' face. I'm sure there was some sort of a concussion issue with the blow that he received to his head that night. Didn't stop him. And he's been wrestling for decades. Or for at least the last decade. He's had concussions. They've all had concussions. It's just because of this football thing that's going on, and that all these, you know, ex-retired football players are coming up with concussion issues later on in life. Some of them are going through some real terrible things, and I sympathize with it, and I understand, but you chose this path in life, guys. It's stupid. It would be like me choosing to be a wrestler in my 20s, right? And which I wish I really could have done. And then over the next 20 years of my life, I've had a great career, but I've had multiple injuries. And then I get mad at wrestling for me being hurt. Like, you can't do that. Like, you chose to be a wrestler. You know what comes in the territory. So why are you getting mad at the WWE that now you have some sort of a brain disorder? You should have not been a wrestler. You should have wrestled better, maybe. Maybe your style was too reckless. And that's what Daniel Bryan recognizes. That he was wrestling the way he was wrestling in his 20s. When he was tearing it down in Ring of Honor. Maybe that's not the style you have to do anymore. You're an established superstar. You could change it up and do whatever you want. So I know for a fact from watching, you know, the Total Bellas and Total Divas and all of the backstage stuff and the 24 specials and things of that nature, that he has changed his style to a safer style. So it's not so much high impact, that it's actually more grappling and wrestling. He knows what he's doing. He's a smart guy. Take the handcuffs off and let him go. You need him. You need him, and he needs you equally. The man is a wrestler. That's all he wants to do. He needs to be in that ring. And your show floundering the way it is, and now that you finally have AJ on top, can you imagine AJ Styles, a heel AJ Styles versus Daniel Bryan? Just imagining it makes me all giddy on the inside. Daniel Bryan versus John Cena. Daniel Bryan versus Samoa Joe. Daniel Bryan versus Bobby Roode. These are superstar marquee matchups. Daniel Bryan versus Brock Lesnar. Daniel Bryan versus Nakamura. Come on. Set it up. Get it all done within the next 2 years, and then let this guy hang it up. For safety reasons. Or at least give him one year. Sign him to a 1 year deal. 1 year extension where he can actually wrestle again. Pull off as many super matches as you can throughout the year. It'll be great. I'm all for it. And I hope that the veil is truly being lifted on this whole scenario, because I miss Daniel Bryan. I know you guys miss Daniel Bryan, and that he would be the biggest and best thing to happen to wrestling in the year 2018, and we would actually have some really good matches to look forward to, and they could actually compete with the likes of Chris Jericho versus Kenny Omega. If you're going to give me Daniel Bryan and Nakamura, I think WWE wins in that scenario. How about you? That's it for this one. This was part 2 of your weekend update. Some real great stuff to talk about. Don't forget to check out everything else on the channel. If you missed part 1, it is up there live. We talked about lots of stuff there. The Roman Reigns rumor going around, we killed that one. We talked about Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn's exiting from the UK tour, which was unfortunate. We have so much other stuff on the channel this week, too. We have the Raw and the SmackDown review. My top 10 things wrong with WWE 2K18. Don't forget to check that one out. That's a good one and some very valid points. And maybe I'll do another one of those sometime soon. That's up to you. If you want to see another top 10 or another Gimme 5. If you guys haven't checked out Gimme 5, check out that playlist. I got that live on the channel. Everything here for you as a wrestling fan. As always, and I want to thank you guys for joining us along on this ride today. Part 2 is now over. Who knows if there'll be a part 3? Like I said, it is only Friday morning right now. And, we still got all of Saturday. We got the whole rest of the day to get through. Who knows if some more news drops. So don't forget to hit that notification bell so you will know if and when a part 3 is made and drops on this channel before we get to Monday night's Raw review. My name is Nick Nightmare. This is my tag team partner, the World Heavyweight Champion of Microphones, Blue the Snowball, thanking you once again for checking us out here. That is going to do it, and we are out of here, and we will see you next time, right here on the newest, fastest rising podcast in all of YouTube, the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, only on Sledgehammer TV, right here on YouTube.com. Thank you very much, you guys, and we will see you next time. Have a good one.